communicate with the superconscious, or how to know when you're communicating with the superconscious, how to know when you're channeling. Okay, how to know when you're channeling is important. Okay, because you are connected to infinite knowledge. So let me give you an idea of that. Have you ever been explaining something to someone and then you start saying things that not even you knew, right? You know, and all of a sudden you're going, wow, I hope I remember this because I didn't even know I knew this. Right? Good morning, Jake. I didn't even know I knew this, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of like dive in and to help you understand how this process works. Okay? So you have the conscious mind, the subconscious, and the superconscious all located in here. Okay? Now this is mindset stuff. Okay? This is how you develop a mindset. This is how you form a mindset. Now your conscious mind is the frontal lobe of your brain. Okay? It thinks a million thoughts a day. It just keeps thinking. You know, and with our meditation process, people think that, well, the idea is to slow the thinking down or to stop the thinking. Like, no, that's not what meditation is. That's not what it's about. That's not how it works. But here's the thing, right? You can learn to not engage with the thoughts that you don't want to engage with. And then what happens? It just goes. Okay, so how does that work with the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious? Well, with the superconscious and intuitive thought, okay, it comes out of the right brain, the right hemisphere of your brain. So the right hemisphere is responsible for creativity. It's responsible for intuitive thought, okay? And there's a reason why, esoterically, Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father and not the left, okay? Because this is your communication with Source. This is your communication with Christ consciousness. This is your communication with the divine, if you would like to say it that way. Good morning, guys. But this is how you understand this. Okay, so how you understand it is when you start speaking things or explaining something to someone, and then you start saying things that you didn't even know you knew. This is channeling. Okay, so I channel all the time when I teach. In fact, back in the day, I didn't completely understand this process. And so I started learning this process in 2007. And when I started practicing this, practicing the awareness actually. So first comes the awareness. So first you have to be, more aware. And when I became aware, I was like, wow, I'm channeling. So I didn't even change the seat that I sat in the studio. It kind of got old and, but I kept it because I thought, well, maybe it has to do with my positioning or maybe it has to do with whatever. No, that wasn't it at all. Those are superstitions, okay? And there's many superstitions in religion. There's many superstitions in cultures. There's just many superstitions, okay? It doesn't really math out, okay? But what does math out is the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. But these are states of awareness. You can look at it like states of awareness. But the highest state of awareness is the superconscious. That's in the right brain, your right hemisphere of your brain. Now, these are where the ideas come from. This is where creativity comes from. This is where imagination comes from. It's the right hemisphere of your brain. Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father. Esoterically, the journey of Moses is from the left brain over to the right, or from logic to creativity. So gradually, as you get older, right, the idea is to surrender the left brain and to move over to the right. Okay, because that's where the divine is. It's the right brain. Good morning, guys. So we're on various platforms, so you may see me look up there. You may see me look over here. You may see me look over here and over here. But we have cameras all over the studio this morning on different platforms, 6 different platforms. So we'd like to say aloha from Hawaii to all you people. Aloha. So anyway, now the superconscious, right? If you get intuitive thought, your job is to act on your intuitive thought. Okay, so my classic example of that is you're driving down the street and then you get the feeling, because it's a feeling, it's not like a voice, okay? you get the feeling that you should turn right over here. But you have logic, right? Your left brain. You have your left brain logic, and you have an ego, and you have free will. So what do? You dismiss that feeling, and you go, no, that's okay, because you don't trust it. I'm here to tell you, when you start trusting the superconscious, things will pan out for you, okay? But you have to trust, okay? Or let's say believe, okay? But first trust so that you can experience the results. Then you will believe the results. Then you can do the ask, believe, receive. Okay, it's in every holy book. It's how human beings are designed. This is not like a theory or, a hypothesis. This is like literally science. It's biology. So anyway, when you're communicating with the superconscious, that's when you're asking, okay? Ask, believe, receive. That's when you're in the asking mode. When you start asking, you will get answers, but you will get it intuitively. You will feel the answers. Now, some people tell me, like, I can't stop thinking. I don't know what to feel. Okay, if you're that distracted, and let me tell you that that's distraction. Okay, that's not limitation. Okay, and when people are distracted, it takes them off of their life path. Just like when you're at work, if you get distracted, you get pulled away from work. If you get distracted in life, you get pulled off of your life path. Okay? So if you get distracted, or if you are being distracted, so this is a form of distraction if you allow it. Okay, but this is also a form of education. It depends how you use it, right? So you can use a knife to, right, cut something, vegetables, or you can use it for bad purposes. It depends on how you use things. Okay, so when you're talking about the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious, okay, what you're really working with is, and how you want to work with it, is synergistics. Okay, synergistically, you want to work with these synergistically so that you can align the conscious, the thoughts, with the subconscious. Okay, the subconscious hold your beliefs, and then the superconscious, which is intuitive thought. Now, the superconscious will assist the subconscious. The job of the subconscious, or the way the subconscious learns, first of all, is in repetition. But the job of the subconscious is to show you proof of the things that you're working on, to show you proof of the goals that you're trying to achieve. Or we can say manifestation. It sounds mystical, right? Everybody, oh, I manifested this. I manifested that. No, what you really did is you thought about it. Your subconscious started to believe it, and then it gave you evidence of it, and then you had intuitive thought or an idea concerning it from the superconscious, and then you pulled the trigger on the action. You took action. The universal law of action tells us that in order to manifest something, in order to achieve something, some kind of action has to be taken. Now, thought is action. Okay, there's physical action, there's emotional action, there's thinking action. These are all actions. Okay, so you can actually manifest things by thought when you marry it with emotion, and if you meditate on it. Okay, so affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. First, you write the affirmation. You speak the affirmation. Okay, but first you write it. Okay, then you do the meditation. Okay, you don't need more than 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes of stillness. Okay, not necessarily, silence is kind of different. People go, oh, you have to sit in silence. You have to be still. You just have to be still. And then you observe your thoughts. And when you observe your thoughts, you can see them just floating by like that. Okay, because thoughts bring emotions. So what are you thinking? Okay, when your thoughts bring a negative emotion, you have 90 seconds to allow it to pass. And if you don't engage with it in 90 seconds, you won't get any urge anymore. 90 seconds, it takes 90 seconds. So, and you can time it on your phone or whatever it is, or you can just, you can kind of just chill for a bit. Okay, but what I'm saying is if you chill for a bit, okay, that compulsiveness goes away. If you chill for a bit, that anxiety will go away. Now, if the anxiety is hitting you like this, if this is what's happening over and over and like that, okay, repetitive like that, that's your subconscious. Your subconscious has learned to feed anxiety to you over and over and over and over. And now you're in a loop. Okay, you can create a negative loop because first you think it, right? Then it becomes a belief in your subconscious because why? Because it's a dominant thought. You keep thinking it over and over and over. Then what happens? Well, then the subconscious starts showing you proof. So if it's a thought of, let's say, fear, your subconscious will be going here, and here's something else to be afraid of. Oh, hey, and here's the other thing, and here's another thing to be afraid of, and here's another thing to be afraid of. And then what happens? Your subconscious learns in repetition, and it feeds you things in repetition. And now you have this negative cycle going on, and you're being sucked into this cycle. You're being bound into this cycle of negativity. You're being bound into this cycle of, I cannot help myself. I don't know why I did that, but I just did it. It's because you have trained your subconscious so well that it will keep you bound. Okay? So in that case, what do? Well, Christians say, let go and let God. That's one way to say it. Letting go is another way to say it. Surrender is another way to say it. But that's what you need to do. Now, who are we surrendering to? You're surrendering to yourself. Okay? You're not your body. You're not your name. You're the energy that lives in here. You're a spiritual being having a physical experience. So when you surrender, what are you doing? When you surrender, you become the observer, not the participant. You can observe the thoughts, you can observe the emotions without being entangled in them or without joining with them. Okay, so sometimes people are going off in front of me, right? I haven't had that experience recently, but when I was training myself, okay, because this is training. You have to train your subconscious. You have to rewrite programs within your subconscious. It's not difficult to do. It just needs to be done. And, most people say they don't have the time, but most people won't take the time to do it. But when life becomes a problem, we look for quick solutions. Okay, this is not a quick solution. These are new habits. Okay, so form new habits. So let me show you. I show everybody all the time because, I want it to sink in. So first of all, these are affirmations. Okay, these are affirmations. So these are daily affirmations. See the dates on the side? Okay, these are affirmations. This is the one I'm working on now. I just started on this one. But these are affirmations. And let me give you some ideas on how to do this. I am so happy and grateful now that I am in possession of $200 extra this month. Thank you. Okay, now you've written your affirmation. Did it go into your subconscious? A little bit, just a little, because you wrote it. Now, if you're typing your affirmations in your phone, it doesn't register the same way. Okay, so when I see a lot of young people teaching this, okay, teaching these things, right? And God bless them, but they've got a lot of it wrong. Okay, and it's because they're just picking stuff up online and teaching it to you rather than studying it. Okay, they're looking at somebody else online and they go, oh, okay, I'm going to copy his content. I'm going to copy her content. And then they'll just regurgitate, or, it's not regurgitation, but I mean, that's a funny way to say it, but they'll just reiterate whatever they saw. They'll copy what they saw. So, be careful out there. Okay, be careful. So you have to, I've been teaching these things for 36 years. I've been teaching confidence for 36 years. Okay, so confidence coaching is very simple as well. Confidence coaching, I don't care what kind of coaching you're talking about. I don't care if you're an archery coach, okay? You're working with the subconscious. What are you teaching? Are you coaching confidence? Okay, it involves the subconscious. Are you teaching music? That involves the subconscious. Okay, repetition, anything in repetition. Sports, that's all subconscious. Why? Because an athlete requires his body to do whatever the task is better than his conscious mind. Your subconscious needs to learn it better than your conscious mind. Why? Because you can't learn everything on the spot. You have to commit it to memory. That's your subconscious. So when we talk about the tree, okay, we talk about the subconscious tree, right? Or the human, okay, we talk about the human being, the mind tree, if you want to call it that. I haven't really named the tree, I just say the tree. Okay, down here in the roots, you have your core beliefs, your subconscious. Now, depending on what you believe down here at the foundation, okay, your paradigm is constructed, which would be the body of the tree or the trunk of the tree. Okay, this is your paradigm. This is the way you see things. This is the way you view the world based upon what you believe. Now, above your paradigm, at the top of the tree, are the fruits of the tree. And the fruits are your actions. Actions speak louder than words. You will know them by their fruits. Okay? You will know people by the way they act. Guarantee. Okay? And here's some things that maybe you would like to consider. The universal law of correspondence, which tells us that everything out here starts in here. In other words, if I go into a person's car, I haven't gone into another person's car for a long, long time, but if somebody gives me a ride somewhere and I see how their car is inside, I know how they are in here. I have one of my clients is a CEO, and I go into his office for meetings once in a while. His desk is like everything is in place. There's no mess, there's no stacks of papers, there's nothing like that. Everything is orderly, everything is set in place, and it's very neat. And you know what that tells me? That tells me that my CEO is very organized in here. Okay, now if you see somebody, somebody at work and their stuff's thrown all over their desk and stuff, that's the way they are in here. Okay, I used to work with people like in a situation where we used to ad-lib comedy, which is very difficult to do. Okay, it takes practice. It takes subconscious. Okay, memorizing a comedy routine or memorizing bits for comedy, that kind of, it's all subconscious. So is music, right? So everything. There is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. That's all there is. So now, when we take a look at the subconscious activity, right? How are we going to go about this and commit this to memory? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay. Now, the subconscious is where you get this creative thought from, intuitive thought, intuition, all of these things. It's the right hemisphere of the brain. So now when you understand it better and you break it down, Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. Okay, so I'm going to try and make this very, very simple for you. Okay, so you got the roots, right? The subconscious beliefs, your core beliefs, okay? Based upon your core beliefs, that's how you're going to look out at the world, okay? Then your actions will reflect your paradigm based upon your beliefs that are the fruits of, your actions that become the results. And this is why they say the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again the same way, expecting a different result. So how do you change what you're feeling? How do you change your emotions? You change your thoughts. Everything originates in thought. So now, change your thoughts. Okay, what do I do when I get a bad thought? Say stop. Simple. Have you trained a puppy before? That's how you need to train yourself. Have you trained a dog before? When the dog does something, you say no. Simple, right? But most people would not think of it. But that's what you do. You get a thought, you go no. And you shift your thinking to a better thought. If you think good thoughts, you get good results. Why? Because, well, when you think the thought, okay, and you think it over and over again, you think the same thought over and over again, and maybe the thought is, I want to start a side hustle. Maybe the thought is, I want to buy a new dress or a new pair of shoes or whatever it is, and you keep thinking it. It will go into your subconscious, and your subconscious will show you proof to back it up. It'll say, yeah, you really do need new shoes. Okay, where's that thought coming from when the thought happens like that? It's coming from the superconscious. And the superconscious works in concert with the subconscious. Now, when you have all three lined up, working synergistically together, things begin to manifest, or things begin to come into your life. It doesn't matter what you want. You just need to be clear on what you want and why you want it. The how is always God's job. Always. 24/7, 365. Okay, because you don't know how. And this is why the journey is important. Okay, the journey is the important thing. Because God will show you, God will take you on a journey. Or if you want to call it source, if you want to call it Jesus Christ, you want to call it Allah, whatever label you want to put on the superconscious. Okay? But God will take you on a journey. Because you think, because you make a plan, and you go, okay, well, I'm going to step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then I'll get it over there. And you go step 1, step 2, and God takes you out to left field or right field, and boom, it happens out there at step 3. And you go, whoa, I didn't expect that, right? So how many things go exactly according to the way you planned it? Probably not too much. Okay? Because God is real. Because the superconscious is real. But all of these components, so to speak, or let's say these states of awareness are in you. Okay, the kingdom is within. This is what Jesus Christ was talking about. The kingdom is within. Gautama Buddha taught the same thing. The kingdom is within. Krishna, the kingdom is within. Christ consciousness, the kingdom is within. There is no out there. God is not up there. Yet they have that emoji, right? The emoji like this, for God, like God is up there. That's a distraction. We have eyes that look out there. So we think that whatever we seek is out there. You need to seek in here. The kingdom is within. It's on the inside. So when you seek, close your eyes, go like this. You want to find something? Go like this. And ask. Ask, believe, receive. When you ask, your subconscious, in concert with the superconscious, will answer you. Try it. Ask yourself a question in the form of, how do I do this? How do I get this new job? What is the process for this position that I'm after? Ask yourself, how am I going to get the money to whatever, go to the movies this weekend? Ask yourself. My clients are professionals and what I call high performance professionals. They don't have time to keep going like this. They don't have time to do this. They need to do this. They need to have the conscious, subconscious, conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. It's my ADHD. My brain skips tracks every now and then. Okay. But they need to have all three working in concert because they need to go like this. High performance professionals cannot go like this. And so when they ask me, I channel. Okay? Channeling the superconscious. Can you channel the superconscious? You already do. When you get intuitive thought, when you start talking to somebody and having a conversation with somebody, and you start explaining things, and then you don't even know what you're talking about, but it makes sense, and you just keep going because now you're the observer, and you're observing yourself say these things that you didn't even know you knew. God is real. But God isn't here. Okay? Divine transmission, you want to call it that? Inspired intuition, you want to call it that? Higher self communication, you want to call it that? Doesn't matter what label you want to put on it. It's just important that you understand it's there. You just have to understand it's a thing. Now, women have women's intuition. Their intuition is a little sharper. Okay, they were engineered that way, just a little sharper because they need to be mama bears. They need to raise young. Okay, and the joke I make about it is they need to be on the phone, okay, cooking dinner and keeping their eye on baby all at the same time. And they can do that. They're engineered for it. So, when a woman expresses her feelings, because they're emotional beings, they will express how they feel about things. Okay, pay attention. Pay attention, especially if you're a man, pay attention. Okay, I can't tell you, the majority of my clients have been women, like for the last 36 years, the majority. And then they bring their daughters because they want their daughters confident. Okay, and we do all of this through the human voice. The life coaching and the singing business, both businesses. But here's the thing, okay? They always have one complaint, that their ideas are always being dismissed by their partners or their husbands or their boyfriends, right? Because only 3% of men understand women. That's 3 out of 100, okay? The rest of them just go, whatever. And then one day they end up in divorce court because they don't understand the hardwiring. Okay, so, the same way you buy a product from the store and it comes with an owner's manual, and then you go, I don't need this manual. And then you just kind of fuss with it and you get it to work. And then pretty soon it doesn't work the way you want it to anymore because you didn't read the owner's manual. Communication between men and women work the same way. I can't tell you how many guys come to me when they're this close to divorce court. That's when they come. They say, dude, I need to do something. She mentioned the D word. And I'm like, oh, okay. You have to understand, and I'll give you a little bit of, because I do relationships, careers, and personal development. But I will give you a little bit of relationship. I have to really watch what I say because of the algorithms and things. But so I have to kind of be brief about it and give you an overview. And if you want more details, you can see me hereforyoulifecoaching.com. If you're in that situation, I can help. Anyway, so it's about attraction with females because females are emotional beings. It's about how she feels. Okay. So if you let that attraction go down and down and down and down, and you cannot build it up after bringing it down, okay, what kind of things bring it down? Well, serious conversations, arguments. Okay, most men do not know that when they are arguing with a woman, she is looking at him subconsciously as one of her girlfriends because he's acting like a girl. Okay, only 3 out of 100 men know this. Okay, why is that? Well, because that's what women do. They're emotional. Does that mean men are not supposed to have emotion? No. You're just not supposed to be emotional with her. And go talk to the boys. Okay. But what I'm saying really, though, seriously, if the attraction level goes down like this, you have to build it up. You have to know how to build attraction again. Because it will go up and down like over here like this. When it goes down this far, so I call this the danger zone down here. When it goes down here, this is when I get the phone call. This is when people are like, Junior, can you help me? She used the D word, and I need help. I got to turn this thing around. I got to tell you, it's the hardest thing to turn a married man around. A man who's been married for at least, like, if they've been married for 3 years, it's tough. 3 years and more, it's tough to turn them around. Why? Because they've been conditioned. Okay? If you want to say whip down, whatever, conditioned to certain actions. Now, this again is subconscious. It's all subconscious. They get in the habit of doing whatever they get in the habit of doing. It's subconscious. And this is why some men get married over and over and over. Okay, and that's what we call serial monogamists. They get married again and again and again. Oh, this didn't work with her. Oh, and then it didn't work out with her. Then it didn't work out with her. Why? Because you didn't fix the roots of the tree. You didn't fix your subconscious. You're performing the same actions over and over and over with different women. Didn't work with number 1, didn't work with number 2, it's not working with number 3, and now you're going to divorce court because now you're down here at that 9-yard marker. Okay, the last 9 yards. This is the last 9 yards. Attraction level is between here and my thumb. Okay, and if you're not doing anything to raise the attraction level and you stay in this danger zone, this part collapses like that. It's quick, it's fast, it's like boom. And that can happen in a day. It can happen in an hour. It can happen in 10 minutes. And when this happens from the danger zone like this, and she may be using the D word here and there, whatever, but then she'll make a decision, and the decision will be that fast. And once she gets here, there's no resurrection. There's no recourse. There's no building anything anymore. She's done. Only 3% of men know this. The other guys are, I'll go out and buy her a diamond bracelet. Good luck. She'll take the diamond bracelet, right before she takes you to court. So anyway, all right, and it's not about this live is not about bad news. I'm just saying that you need to understand. And you need to learn that, if you had you don't need to go to therapy. You can do this on your own. Okay, you don't need to hire somebody else to tell you things that, I'm not in the system. I can say what I want. Okay, the people in the system, they can only say system things. So, because they're serving the system, they're in the system. I serve people. There's a difference. Okay, there's a standard set of stuff that you can say. There's a standard set of stuff that you can't say. And I'm not restricted in that way. I'm here for people. Okay, so anyway, right? It's all subconscious. If you're not fixing these things that maybe are bad habits in your subconscious, then it doesn't matter what girl you marry. It doesn't matter, how many jobs are you blowing. You get fired from this job, you're fired from that job, or you quit this job because you don't like it. There's something here you don't like. You go to this job, something you don't like. You go to this job, something you don't like, and you quit, and these 3 quits are within a year. Guess what? Something in your subconscious needs fixing. How do you fix it? Well, you start with one of these. The pen is more powerful than the sword. I say it every day, okay? So you start with one of these. First, you identify what's going wrong. Like, why did I not like that first job? What happened at that second job? What happened at that third job? And what did all three have in common? Identify what's going wrong. When you spot what's going wrong or you figure out what's going wrong, okay, the next step is acceptance. Accept it. Okay, screwed up. All right, good. Now, time to move on. Okay, now when you move on, you already know what it is. Now you can go to work on it. Now you can address it with affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Okay, so the affirmations part, you write it out. Meditation, 10 minutes of stillness. That's a chore. It's a chore. So how do you do that? Well, try 5 minutes first. In 3 days, you should be able to work your way up to 10 minutes. Do 10 minutes a day. So how many days does it take to form a new habit? About 66, about 2 months. How many people do that? All of my professionals do it. A lot of people that come to me that are not professionals, what I mean is their job does not require that kind of high performance, they don't do it. Human beings love the rut they're in, and we're resistant to change because change is uncomfortable. Like, oh, I gotta do this now. Oh, I gotta do that. I was happy doing this. It was going wrong all the time, but I was happy with it. Why? Well, because it was the same thing and I was comfortable with it, right? Okay. So we all go through that. It's not about exerting so much extra energy. It's not about that at all. This whole process that I teach professionals is only 13 minutes a day, maybe, not even 15 minutes a day. The whole process. But the average person will not take 15 minutes a day. The average guy certainly will not take 15 minutes a day. But women, there you go, right? Women come to me and they go, I gotta fix this, I gotta work on this, and they work on stuff. And they go out and get degrees, and they go out and take classes and get certified for things, and they go out and do stuff like that. So they come to me and I teach them. And there's some pretty powerful people. They are some very, very powerful beings. Okay, but they're spirits in a human body. You're not your body, you're not your name. You're the energy that lives in here. You want to call it a spirit, you want to call it energy, you want to call it, some people call it a soul. There is a spiritual distinction between the three, but we'll just call it energy because everything is energy. There's light energy, there's dark energy, but everything is energy. Okay, so you can use it for light purposes or dark purposes. Some people, oh well, no, the light thing, that's evil. I'm like, okay, you have it backwards. Okay. Do we have both energies in us? Of course. And we can choose. I call it the windshield wiper when it goes like this. Good, bad, good, bad. Good thought, bad thought. Good thought, bad thought. Right? And we fluctuate all day long with our thoughts. Now, thinking a thought and engaging with your thought, or let's say embracing your thought, or taking action on your thought, is joining with your thought. Now, if you're joining with every thought you have, you're engaging with a lot of stuff, okay? Because, thank you very much. Thank you, Leo. Good morning. Good morning. And you're engaging with a lot of stuff, and so you're being pulled like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Some of the thoughts you have to say, stop, let go. Stop, let go. Stop, release. Stop, surrender. Surrender this thought. Surrender that thought. No, let it go. Why? Because the emotion follows the thought. You embrace the thought. Here comes the emotion. Now you feel the emotion. What are you going to do? See? You're going to react. But when you can become the observer, and it takes a little while, The fastest way to get people there is through their voice. That's what we do. That's what I do for 36 years. What does it do? It calms you here. This is solid science. It's called the science of confidence. It's on the website, here for you, lifecoaching.com. Go read the tab. It tells you all about it. It's a hormonal reaction that happens, but it's initiated through your voice. So what happens? Well, you get really calm in here. For my veterans, for my military people, it calms their PTSD to the point where they can control it pretty easily. It always comes back. It always gets triggered. But the triggers are less severe. It's a little tug instead of a knee-jerk reaction. It's like that. Okay, there's a little tug and they have to go, oh, okay, release. Like that. Instead of a knee-jerk reaction. Hey, Leo. Thank you. So, yeah, it starts with your voice. You tune a human being the same way you tune an instrument through their voice. It raises their frequency. Then what happens? Well, they start attracting better things. Better things, better people, better money, better experiences, better friend groups, better everything. And when that happens, you move into a different world in the same world. When that happened to me, like I don't even see the people that I used to see. I love them. I enjoy seeing them whenever I run into them or when I see them online. But when your life changes, or let's say this another way, when you upgrade your life, when you get a better job, when you get better friends, when you start associating with better people, because we grow, right? Now, if you're not doing these things, there's no growth. You are not evolving, okay? And you should evolve. And why is this important? It's important for your children. If you're in your 20s, it's important for your future children if you don't have them already. Whatever you learn gets passed down the genetic pipe, so to speak. Okay? Part of it is genetics. When you are born, you are part your mother and part your father, and you carry traits of both, on both sides. And then think of the generation before them, your grandparents, and before them, your great-grandparents, and your great-great-grandparents, and it all comes down the line. You may not know what your great-great-great-great-grandmother looked like, but her nose might be sitting on your face, and you don't know. See? Because this just keeps going. It just keeps going. So, conscious, subconscious, superconscious. When you're channeling from the superconscious, okay, you are getting these ideas in real time. If you're quiet enough in here, or calm enough in here, or let's say it another way, level-headed in here, then yeah, you'll be able to receive. Okay, ask, believe, receive. Okay, so when you ask a question, you have to believe the answer, and you will receive the byproduct of the answer. In other words, should I go and apply at XYZ company? And you meditate on it. You think about it. The more you think about it, the more it goes into your subconscious. The more it goes into your subconscious, the more the subconscious goes, okay, show you evidence of it. Yeah, you should go because this. Yeah, you should go because that. Yeah, you should go because that. Now here's another reason to go do it. Okay, now you're going to take the action to do it. Thank you. You take the action to do it, right? And now it's like, okay, you get in your car, you go down, right? Okay, now where does the action part come from? Where does the intuitive thought come from? It comes from the superconscious. So the subconscious gives you all these confirmations. And pretty soon, working with the superconscious goes, okay, just go. Just go. Just go down and apply. And you go down and apply. What happens? You get the job, and then what? You say, oh, I got lucky. I got lucky. I went down, I got lucky. No, you did not. You have to see it for what it is. You have to be aware of how the human being works, and you have to be aware that if you want to see a miracle, the only thing you have to do is go look in the bathroom mirror. That's it. Go look in the mirror. Go take a selfie. Whatever. Okay? But we have eyes that look out there. So we seek out there. When the answer is in here, we're moving away from where the answer is, because the answer is in here. So if the answer is in here, then seeking looks like this. Seeking looks like this. It doesn't look like this, because people will look and will never see. They will listen and never hear. Why? Because they're seeking out there. Because they're listening out there. They're not listening in here. They're not listening to the superconscious. They're not paying attention to their subconscious and how it works. They're not aware. Awareness. These are levels of awareness. The conscious, subconscious, and superconscious are levels of awareness. But when you know how to use these synergistically, in order, you will find the formula to success. Whatever success is for you, because your conscious mind needs to work in concert with the subconscious. And you have to control the conscious mind, because that's the 1,000 thoughts a day or the 1,000,000 thoughts a day. But when you can control that and only allow what you want instead of what you don't want, then the only programs that are in your subconscious are things you want. There you go. The subconscious learns in repetition. Now it repeats the actions. Why? Because the subconscious are the roots of the tree, remember? Okay? So the body of the tree, okay? Your paradigm, the way you look at the world based upon what you believe, and then the fruits are your actions that bring you results. And the actions are based upon your paradigm. Your paradigm is based upon the roots of the tree, or your fundamental core beliefs, things that you believe to be true. When you have these three things lined up, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen. You can't run from it. Okay? But if your conscious mind, is giving you positive, negative, the windshield wiper, right? Positive and negative thoughts all day, positive, negative. I had a few of these positive, but then I had all these negative thoughts. You accepted some of the negative thoughts. You accepted some of the positive thoughts, and you're going like this. Okay? Instead of saying stop, instead of saying no to the negative thought and dismissing it, you're accepting all of it. You're accepting positive and negative. So now you're the windshield wiper going like this, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay? And then your path is like this. There's no rudder on this ship at all. Okay? When you place a rudder on it, what are you doing? You're establishing direction. Now when you establish the direction, it says, I'm going here. I'm going to XYZ company to get a job. I'm going to pursue a relationship with Susie over here. I'm going to pursue a career or an education for a career over here. I'm going to pursue that career, and I'm going to keep going until I get the degree. And then it's all about the degree. You have to be all in for everything you do. No matter what it is. And this is why we only have 5-star ratings. We have 45, I think, 5-star ratings. Nothing less than a 5-star rating. Why? Because when you perform things in excellence, when the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious are working together, you can't help but provide 5-star service, or whatever it is. Yeah, 5-star service. Because then you give everything you have. And you put everything that you have into what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're a carpenter. It doesn't matter if you're a life coach like me. It doesn't matter if you're a musician. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're a musician, you know about this. You have to practice. Commit it to your subconscious. Okay? And they get paid way less than they should. They should be paid way more than that for all that practice time. But it's what they love. right? Artists, right? They paint. Beautiful painting, right? But if you look at the amount of hours that they put into dedicating it into their subconscious, they should get paid way more. You know, when you see a Monet or, you know, something like that, and then you go, wow, okay, I can understand why it's a couple $1 million. And sometimes you look at it and you go, boy, that looks like a child could do it, right? You know, but I'm just saying, it's relative. It's the law of relativity. It's all relative. The universal law of relativity. Everything is relative. And it's all perspective. It's your perspective. So focus on your dreams. I focused on my dreams. I did not want to be an attorney. My mom wanted me to be an attorney. I did not want to be an attorney. I'm like, no, not being an attorney. I want to sing. You know, I want to do this, and then I started making my list, and I had so many things that now if I put my name in a browser, like I come up with, you know, everything that I was thinking about when I was 12. It all came out. So what I'm really telling you is that your life path unfolds from within. The kingdom is within. It unfolds from here, okay? It doesn't happen to you. If you think that life is happening to you, you're suffering from limited thinking. You're in victim mentality. Oh, this happened to me, that's why. Oh, that happened to me, that's why. Oh, this guy did this to me, that's why. You know, if you plan properly with your conscious, your subconscious, and your superconscious, that guy wouldn't even be in your vibration. That person who did something to you wouldn't even be in your vibration. Nobody does anything wrong to me. Nobody gives me any trauma. Why? Here, let me show you why. Because I designed my life. Here. This is how you design your life. You instruct your subconscious what to do. These are affirmations. There you go. You design your life. When you design your life, right, your subconscious will unfold the life you want instead of unfolding drama that you don't want or attracting drama that you don't want. Because when you start getting involved in drama, right, you start getting pulled into a lower vibration. What happens the other way around? Well, when you start programming your subconscious to do positive actions, now you're doing correct manifestation because the subconscious will keep feeding it to you. The subconscious learns to be happy. The subconscious learns to be joyful. The subconscious learns to be unhappy. The subconscious learns to be miserable. And then guess what? You're living in hell. The prison is here. In order to unlock the prison and free yourself, okay, set yourself free. In order to do that, you have to surrender. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. That's the process. That's the fastest way. Now, you can just write affirmations if you want to. You can just speak the dream if you want to. Vocalization. You can just meditate if you want to. Just meditation. It may take longer, but if you want quick results and you want this thing to turn around now, okay, if you want it done quickly, you do all 4 pillars. Okay, we'll start to go over it this week. We'll start to go over each one this week. But when you do this, you're programming yourself for success. When you do this, you're programming yourself for money, for a successful relationship, for a good household, for a nice house, for a nice car, for a nice whatever, good things. But when you keep thinking about what you don't want, you know, oh, I hope I don't get that. Hope I don't get that. You know what the topic is? That. So the subconscious goes, oh, that's what you don't want? It's about that? It could be about getting sick. Oh, you don't want to get sick? Now sick becomes the topic. Now sick is the issue in the subconscious. So what happens? You get sick more often. You know, I'm always getting sick. I'm always catching a cold. when you pronounce it like that onto yourself, you're pronouncing it into your subconscious. You're telling your subconscious, this is me. I'm sick. You know, I'm getting sick again. Oh, you're getting sick again? Oh, you want it again and again and again and again and again, right? Again. The subconscious does that. Repetition. Now you're getting sick all the time and you wonder why. I used to get sick all the time. I used to get bronchitis like 2 or 3 times a year before 2010. Then after that, after my training, 2007, I went down the rabbit hole, did all my, all my studies. And after that, I hardly get sick. I can't remember the last time I was sick. My clients are amazed because I always show up. I never cancel on them. And like, no, I'm here. I'm not working hard. I'm working effectively. There's a difference. They call it working smart, whatever. Work hard, don't work hard, work smart, whatever. It's working effectively. How are you going to be effective? Well, you have to align the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious to be effective. Or you're going to get a little bit of these results, a little bit of these results. Your journey is going to look like this instead of like that. Okay? And then you're going to wonder why you float off over here. Why did this happen over this drama over here? And then I got sucked into this drama over there. And then I started going straight for a little while. Then I got back into drama and then back over here. And why am I attracting this stuff? You're attracting from within. Your actions within are producing this attraction. Because like attracts like. Because misery loves company. Okay, because your subconscious is feeding it to you over and over and over and over. So you take the problems from yesterday. When you wake up today, you start thinking about them. They come back again, right? Tomorrow, you pull it into tomorrow. Because you wake up, you start thinking about, I got to deal with all this stuff. And you wonder why you deal with it over and over and over. I can't tell you how many women I've met that I go out with that are always in drama. Women are emotional beings. So they get sucked into drama all the time if they don't resist it. Or I should say surrender. When you resist, it persists. But I'm just saying, like, if they don't allow it to leave. Because now this thing sets them off, this thing triggers them, this thing gets them mad, this thing makes them happy, and then, now they're mad again. They're emotional beings, okay? They're different. They're not like men. So, what needs to be done? Well, when you teach a female how to organize, she's got it. When you teach her how to align the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious, drama goes away. She becomes fierce. Then you get that lady boss. Then you get the lady boss because now everything's going like this. If someone is chronically late for work, if someone is not organized, if someone is like, a few days go good and then boom, 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 bad, and then a couple of days are really good and then another 3 bad days filled with drama, right? It's your subconscious. That's all it is, and it's easy to see. Thank you, Jay. I just got the signal from Jay. She goes, see you tomorrow. That's her job. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much, Jay. But anyway, yeah, there you go. Okay? Conscious, subconscious, superconscious. Okay? And whatever you want to label the superconscious, it's up to you. But I'm here to tell you that God is real. Okay? Your creator is real. Somewhere back along the line, there's a creator. Okay? And God does not punish. You do. We do. Okay? All you have to do is make up your mind. I'm Junior from Here For You Life Coaching. We're going to let go of our international feed right now. We're on 6 platforms every morning.